What does it mean for your customers? What does it mean for your investors? What are they thinking about? What does it mean for your employees? So when you come round to tender time and they're looking at, oh, everyone's the same, let's just go for the cheapest. And they go, no, but Smart CT, they're going to give us a carbon report. They're going to show us how they're going to lower our emissions. Those guys really, doing something meaningful in the community as well. What you can actually do to evidence that your solution is more sustainable. And maybe you can charge them for some of those additional services. Let's do a deeper analysis on energy use in your organization. Massive cost for most organizations, particularly a data center. Energy's got to be right up there, hasn't it, as one of their top costs. If you can show them, one, you understand it, and two, how they can influence it, is that not valuable to them? But if someone felt like, I'm not just joining a company because they talk a bit about sustainability, somehow their role has a chance to contribute to the journey you're going on and how you're servicing customers with sustainability, I guarantee you'll have more applicants for that role.
We're two tech CEOs talking about navigating the speed of change in the technology industry. This comes from the impact of tariffs, changing supply chains, opportunities with sustainability, getting the best value, but also, most importantly, winning new business. We're going to have an open, honest discussion, really sharing a bit different perspectives from our experiences in our businesses. I'm here with Anthony Levy, who started his business 17 years ago in a financial recession. All great businesses start in tough economic times, they say, and you've done very well. I mean, rapid growth, international expansion, and you've gone through some challenging times. So thinking about Brexit, COVID, supply chain shocks, and a hell of a lot of political change, and you're representing Circularity First, who's really focusing on profitable outcomes with sustainability and technology.
Thank you, Andy. It's great to be here and to be talking about how to thrive in times of uncertainty. Look, you've been on a pretty powerful journey yourself. 20 years in the tech industry, you've worked across software, distribution, telco, and IT services. You successfully led, I think it's 2 exits, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And now you're into Smart CT, which is a business that focuses on IT services and solutions across all of Europe. An award-winning organization. It's great to share this platform with you and really to dig into what it's like to run businesses like this.
Yeah, absolutely excited. So it's great to be here with you.
So episode 5, how else we can use things like sustainability to help an organization thrive.
So some of the kind of consulting work that you're doing with some of your customers, I guess at the start of it, you're really experienced at, the area of sustainability and tech and how people make it more profitable. But, as you go through the journey with your customers to, create awareness and look at actionable areas to address, what do you find in the reaction is from your customers?
I think the reaction evolves over time. So when I start, I think, if I'm honest, I kind of get into customers through the energy, the passion, and the things I can talk about, right? Yeah. So I can tweak the interest of, maybe I can get them to at least think, maybe we should look at this. But that comes from kind of energy, passion, like me throwing out some examples. When we actually get in the room, and I'm quite often thrown into a boardroom with a load of execs or a leadership team, and I can already tell the vibe is, why are we spending 2 hours on sustainability? Is this really relevant to us? But I know that going in. So I might even play that back as my opening statement. Like, you're probably wondering, why are you going to spend 2 hours? But remember, this is outside of people's experience. So you've got to start at a certain level, help them understand what's going on in the world. And help them get that relevance point. So bring the outside inside. Number one job of a CEO, right? Make the outside understandable to the inside of the organization. As you start to contextualize it, help them understand what's going on in regulation. Some of this stuff they're just going to have to do, right? And if you're going to do it anyway, could we do better than just ticking the box? A stakeholder lens is very useful. So what does it mean for your customers? What does it mean for your investors? What are they thinking about? What does it mean for your employees? And as you start to kind of surround all these things, you see, well, actually, it means something to all of those stakeholders. And it's slightly different, but there is something there, and that people are like, well, okay. So then you might talk about, well, where do the actual impacts come from IT? Why is IT under the radar? Why does it matter? Where are those impacts? As we just discussed, you talk about the scale of the impacts and how fast they're growing. Okay, so contextually, this is important. We're in IT and it's growing rapidly here. So those needs are only going to increase. They're only going to become more under the spotlight. They're only going to become more important. And then you kind of help them understand perhaps what their competition's doing. So just a little bit of like, well, actually over there, they're starting to talk about this, or there's an opportunity over here. And typically then we show a load of use cases where other people are actually generating value through it. And that can be reflecting all the different stakeholders. That can be reflecting their competition, but like proof points of where others are actually meaningfully making some more money out of it, frankly. And then we start to kind of put the question back to them. So all those things you've heard, which of those would you like to test to see if it works for you? I'm not telling you after 2 hours you should just swallow down everything I've said, but there must be things in there that you're thinking that you'd like to test with your customers, with your suppliers, with your shareholders, with your employees. What if that resonates? And typically we come out with quite a long list of areas that people would at least like to test. And that's the starting point. So we don't go full in, give me £1 million, I'm going to make your business sustainable. We say, here's 5 things. Let's go test them.
Well, let's play it out. I mean, if I was in that room, I'd be thinking about my customer. Mm-hmm. What I'm focusing on is how can I make the customer experience better? Mm-hmm. So thinking about sustainability, you kind of get in and speak to those, perhaps a selection of those customers, in conjunction with, ultimately your customer, but, being as part and extension of that team. What things would you be looking at in talking to their customer about?
You can immediately show some value in the education, right? So just doing some kind of event or bringing people along. You'll be surprised how many people will come to events that actually give them some free insights and some free knowledge, right?
We all like free. Free's for me.
Fair. But it's not without a goal, right? Getting different decision makers in, so that the first part you'll realize if you start talking about sustainability, you can hit different people in the organization. So if you gave me the list of 10 companies you wanted to renew with, and I said, well, let's get all of their sustainability teams in, right? Hit a new decision maker, and with their sustainability person, let's see one of their other leaders will come in with them, the operations lead, the finance lead, or someone else, right? If you hit new places inside your organization, you talked about your 5 green fingers. If I said to you, well, let's get 2 out of each of those in a room and get them seeing you as a leader and offering something differentiated that adds more value. So when you come round to tender time and they're looking at, oh, everyone's the same, let's just go for the cheapest. And they go, no, but Smart CT, they're going to give us a carbon report. They're going to show us how they're going to lower our emissions. Those guys really, doing something meaningful in the community as well.
Great. Well, when do we start?
Start as soon as you like. But that's just part 1, right? That's education. The next bit is you've already talked about the value add of reporting. Just reporting, not reduction. Just the value of providing a carbon report is massively differentiated at the moment. It won't be forever. At some point, all the vendors will provide the information. Everyone will have it. It'll all be available, and that will no longer be a differentiator. But right now, you said it yourself. For one of your customers, it made a difference. Was it the only reason? Of course, it wasn't. But did it stop them thinking, oh, maybe we should go for those guys that are 5 to 10% cheaper? Maybe, right? And then you've got the whole thing about reduction. What you can actually do to evidence that your solution is more sustainable. And maybe you can charge them for some of those additional services. Let's do a deeper analysis on energy use in your organization. Massive cost for most organizations, particularly a data center. Energy's got to be right up there, hasn't it, as one of their top costs. If you can show them, 1, you understand it, and 2, how they can influence it, is that not valuable to them?
Yeah, it's all about these kind of extra bits to get you, standing out from your competitors. And if anyone wants to know about the 5 green fingers, it's our kind of selling ethos. And I won't tell too much more, but happy to have a one-to-one to talk about it.
But I think the point you made there's a really valid one. So sustainability is not something that in one isolated place is going to magically drop, millions and millions of pounds on your bottom line. It adds value in lots of different places. I mean, we have clients that when we implement remanufactured technology, who use a lot of technology, might add up to $1 million over a year. But it's not in a single deal. It's month by month, week by week, helping them seamlessly integrate sustainability into their supply chain will lower their cost base. but it's exactly the same. You can get value in brand. You can get value with your customers. You can get value with your suppliers. It might help with attraction of more of the best staff. You know, that has value. It's hard to measure. But if someone felt like, I'm not just joining a company because they talk a bit about sustainability, somehow their role has a chance to contribute to the journey you're going on and how you're servicing customers with sustainability, I guarantee you'll have more applicants for that role.
That's really interesting because we have a ESG committee in our business, and each year we look to refresh it. You know, it's something we launched probably 18 months to 2 years ago, and we've refreshed the group this year. And we had people, 2 new people who joined our organisation who, when we talked to them about in the interview stage, like, oh, actually, I'd be interested in doing that in the future. And we said, you know what, let's get them in straight away, because they're coming from different organisations, different perspectives. And it's great, great to have new ideas and input. And that's where you kind of need those ideas. You need that conversation to get the input.
But literally, when we started adding the sustainability credentials of our business, and what we were looking for candidates to include part of their role was to actually make some of this stuff happen, we started doubling the amount of applicants we got for roles. And as a small business, it's sometimes quite hard to compete against the big businesses who have all the amazing benefits, a big brand. So the war on talent's a real thing. So actually, don't underestimate that part of the journey.
Well, great. Well, if anyone wants someone passionate about sustainability in tech, Anthony's your man to get in the room, because he's going to, he'll share something new. I'm always learning something new off Anthony every day.